they have a job for you. The job is the fixers say that if your fixer has a connection, sorry, a loyalty or 4 or greater, they'll mention that this job was someone calling in a favor they owe that person, and that it might and that this person is in some serious trouble with a major Seattle organization. Now, someone, I forget who, was specifically loyal to the Yakuza. Was that?
That would be Sakram. That's me, yep.
Yep. Okay. Who is your fixer?
My fixer is Kato.
Okay, but is he also a member of the Yakuza?
Yes, he is.
Okay, and which family owes your loyalty to?
I don't have a specific one. Oh, yes, I do. Inagawa.
All right. When your fixer is Kato your fixer? What's his connection? Sorry, his loyalty?
His loyalty is 3.
All right. He says when he gives you the job, he says that he would take it as a personal favor if you would that you would see it through.
Okay.
And he emphasizes that in that kind of understated Japanese way.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, but the location for the meet is in South Downtown. In a location, if you look on the Roll20, you should be able to see a map of Seattle. I will just paint where the meet is. This area has a lot of Japanese people in it. It's known to be that, it's specifically controlled by the Yakuza, even though the surrounding downtown area isn't necessarily. It's got and the location is on a street hung with paper lanterns like the image on the lower right. The location given for the meet is basically you go to a strip club, essentially, well, a little bit higher class than that, and you say to the bouncer a word in Japanese that means knife. So probably wakizashi. Or a different Japanese word for knife. I don't speak Japanese.
Like tanto or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, tanto. Tanto is what sounds a lot nicer. So does everyone decide to head off to this meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Does anyone have any specific problems getting there? Because I trust you to tell me if you have no sin and live in Puyallup and that sort of thing.
What rating zone we're going to again?
Oh, sorry, who's that? I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, it's just me. What rating is the zone we're going to?
Are you going to South Downtown, which I've colored red on the map?
Yep, just what rating is it? Like
it's
AAA,
downtown, so
AA?
it's A-ish, I'd say.
Okay.
South Downtown's A-ish, like the heart of downtown gets higher and higher as you go into it. But this area I'm going to say is an A, great security rating area. But more than that, it's heavily Yakuza. It's heavily controlled by elements of the Yakuza. So if you start trouble in one of these bars and clubs, like K might not turn up, but like a bunch of Yakuza hitmen might. So like you may actually disturb an in-progress drug deal and have to deal with that. It's sort of area you don't want to start trouble because you end up in many pieces in a back alley. So no one has any issues that would stop them from reaching the meet fairly unhindered?
Pancho lives in downtown, so he's fine.
Yep. Dr. Feelgood gets there all right?
I mean, I should be fine. I live in downtown. I drive a Bentley. Be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sakram should be fine. He's in Renton, so.
Yep, and Shadow can probably enter the Yakuza controlled area fairly easily. All right, you arrive at a bar which is only advertised by a large, ragged-looking native wood plaque on which are burned several characters in Japanese. If you read written Japanese, it says in elaborate that formal version of the language, words that basically mean flowing river, and the derivations thereof. But there's a guy standing up front with a neck probably the size of your average lamppost. Like a wire running into his ear, black shades, black suit. He's human, but he looks like a troll. And when you approach him, he'll like scowl at you and say something in Japanese and like go, you can't come in, except for if you look like you might be Japanese and fairly high class, in which case he'll ask if you remember in Japanese. But if you say the word to him, Tanto, he immediately ushers you in. So does anyone arrive early?
Sacrum
Poncho
arrived
would get
early.
there about half an hour early.
And did someone else say they're coming early as well? Because Poncho's coming early, but did someone else say?
Sacrum would go at least 15 minutes early as well.
All right, Poncho and Sacrum, you both are ushered into a wooden paneled room, which seems to be some kind of like a sauna, but with less intensity. There's mist and steam in there, but there's not the kind of heat you would expect of a sauna. There is like a kind of a circular room, small, around a wooden table with like a wooden bench running the entire walls of the room except for the door. Yeah, and you two could talk to each other if you wish to. You're both shown into the room. There's no one else in there. And so when you enter the sacrum, there is Poncho sitting in there.
Yep. Poncho will stand up as soon as someone enters, and Poncho's never met Sacrum, so he'll put two and two together, walk over, and just extend his hand to shake.
Yep. He'll take the hand, shake it back.
You can call me Poncho. What do you go by?
Sacrum's fine.
All right.
And Sacrum, you also heard from your fixer that there has been an incident, and he didn't elaborate on what it was, but you have a feeling it was bad, and that basically everyone was going to lockdown in the Yakuza.
Okay.
And anyone else who has knowledge Yakuza or contacts in the Yakuza will have heard this. It's big news.
Oh, okay. Then Poncho's heard it as well. I have knowledge Yakuza. Not
There you go.
contact, though.
You're also Sacrum has bad rep with Yakuza, just so that we're aware.
Any idea what's going on here, Sacrum?
No, not sure entirely what's going on yet.
Yeah, you guys make small talk. No one comes in, not even like someone asking if you want drinks or something, until the other members of the party, which is to say Shadow and Dr. Feelgood, arrive on time.
I'll let you go first, Andy.
Okay. So Dr. Feelgood pulls up in his Bentley. Goes up to the place. Is there anybody outside, or is it just...
Yep, big thick-necked dude is like standing in front of the doorway, like directly in front. Like he's not letting anyone in unless they remember.
Do I have Matrix access?
Yeah.
Does this guy look Japanese?
He looks extremely Japanese. He couldn't look more Japanese if he tried.
Okay, I switch over my translator thing to Japanese.
Alright, he says...
Dr. Feelgood go up and be like, hey, in Japanese.
The guy looks at you funny. Is your lifestyle high?
Yeah.
He says, you a member in Japanese in a way that says, like, indicates he doesn't think you are.
No, I've been told to come here to meet a person.
You were given a password, which was Tanto.
I believe I was told to say the word Tanto.
He suddenly nods and goes, oh, and he comes this way, and he gestures for you to follow a beautiful Japanese. So it's basically dressed like a waitress. Further into the building, and you're led to a misty room with wooden benches surrounding a wooden table, at which Poncho and Sacrum are sitting.
Dr. Feelgood will enter and be like, hey, how you guys doing?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing alright. Just a normal day in Seattle.
All right. This is Sacrum. You can call me Pancho. Looks like we're gonna be working together.
Ah, yeah, well, seems that way. You can call me Dr. Feelgood.
All right then.
Yep. Shadow pulls up in his Sidewinder, parks it studiously, and gets out and heads up to the doorman.
He says something in Japanese. Do you speak the Japanesey?
Son, one moment, please. And Shadow puts his finger like behind his ear and kicks over and dials in Japanese NoSoft, or Linguasoft rather, from the skill network. And then in very stilted Japanese says, "Could you say that again, please?"
He rolls his eyes and he says, "If you are given a word, please say it."
Oh, Tanta.
He says, "All right then," because he's, had forged throughout the Shadowrunners walk past him. Yeah, he's getting the. He can very much identify when someone is one because they flick over and start speaking machine Japanese.
Yep.
All right. So you're led into the room, and all four of you are there. As it's the time for the meet. You're all there. Johnson is not there yet.
How's it going?
Hmm.
I believe we'll be working together tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
I guess it seems that way. Must say,
Well,
it's very terrible things to hear about what this guy needs. Hopefully, we're able to help him.
I guess you got a little bit more of the inside track than I do.
Do you choose to share your inside track?
I don't know what inside track I have, because wait, the job post said, "Hey, find
I
this
might
kid."
have
Oh yeah, something big. Looks like something big just happened for the Yakuza.
Okay, my bad.
I heard from one of my people that seems they're going on lockdown.
Yeah, I guess it's a big deal. Sounds like it.
Sure seems that way. Interestingly enough, did either of you two happen to see someone walking over here when you were shown this room? Because it is now 2 minutes past the meet time. And that's never ended well in the past.
Oh, I'm
There is-
assuming they're just fashionable late. It's not a big deal.
You should probably mine the entrances, call in some tanks, and then nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah, no.
Exactly 3 minutes late, into the small, misty, I'm not going to say it's steamy because it's not super hot, misty room walks hunted, preoccupied looking Japanese man. He looks like mid to late 20s. He's wearing a black suit, although no black shades. He's got like a sort of a twitchy demeanor. He's human. He's not currently carrying a gun in his hand, but he looks like the kind of guy who is, not like a soldier, but like a guy who's seen a lot of action nonetheless. He walks in. He when he like looks across the room, he does it in that way where he like kind of itemizes every single thing in it with a single glance, and then he steps up to the table and doesn't sit down on either side. You're all presumably sitting down. He's standing at the table. He says, the Japanese greeting that I always forget, because something. He says, "My name is Komo. I'm glad to meet you all. I have called you here for a specific purpose." He bows his head and says, "Someone very dear to me has been taken from the home of my wife. I wish you to retrieve this person, as my own power is not sufficient to return her. Furthermore, I wish to accompany you on this retrieval, not because I do not trust you, but because I can do nothing else. For you see, the one who was taken is my child. My daughter.
Who took her?
He says, I was away when she was taken. Her mother says that that the people who took her were dressed like the Italian mob, but the Italian mob that she knows is from the movies. So he sighs. I have been looking for men for the last 3 days, for men wearing big, fancy 1920s suits and And that is what has confounded me. That these things should happen so close to each other is, and be a coincidence, beggars all reason, and yet it seems to be the case.
Okay, I guess we can rule out them.
It has taken the resources of the Yakuza name family from me in my time of need is perhaps the bitterest irony of them all.
So you've ruled out your own compatriots.
As thoroughly as I can. And kind of like, you get the feeling that like in doing so, he left a couple of bodies behind him, at least.
All right. The next question then. What enemies have you made?
He like kind of like he like places his hands on the table with like a loud noise and like bows his head down and he says, "Too many. I was how you say a knife for my lord. Then there were a few places I have not thrust."
All right. Well, where have you struck most recently?
He narrows his eyes and he looks around the table and he's obviously struggling with betraying the secrets of his boss, even though his boss is like basically backstabbed him, to a bunch of strangers. But eventually his loyalty to his daughter wins out, and it's like watching this struggle on this guy's face is actually a little bit heartbreaking because he clearly believes extremely strongly in both loyalty to the Yakuza family and loves his daughter, and it's tearing him apart. But he goes, recently I killed a Cianelli family. I sent a message to the Cianelli family. This was 2 weeks ago.
All right.
I don't have a ton of experience with it, but they seem like the kind of people like to get back at those that wrong them. So, I mean, could be a good place to start.
Probably as good as any. Have you investigated them yet?
He nods and he says, "Yes, I have investigated all the major criminal families." Like you can imagine, this guy like has big rings under his eyes. Like he has not slept since his daughter was taken. Like maybe even before that. Like he's like been ripping this town apart. He says, "I have a contact there named Ratimi. I cannot say Italian names. He he works for me. Well, he thinks he works for a different mafia family, but he's actually working for me. He gives me information on the Cianellis, how I was able to strike at them before. According to him, they have not taken any children hostage, and when I took one of their enforcers into an alley and talked to him, he said the same thing. He says, "You see why I brought you in. I cannot find it." He's like he collapses down the seat next to him and like puts his head in his hands and rubs at his forehead. "I can find no sign of her. What use is my life, my strength, if I cannot save my own daughter?"
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
I don't know. It
Like-
sounds like a good question.
Like, it sounds like you've tried really hard, and hey, you get some help.
It's not
from
a
some
parent's
people.
job to try. Sacrum. And with that, Poncho just turns back to the Johnson. I don't suppose you have any footage from the night, or from the time she was taken.
He says, "Yes, there was a security camera on the neighbor's house." And he says, "Behold," and he ARs. I have looked at this footage a thousand times. Nothing. He goes, and he throws the footage up, and it's a very poor angle from like under the eave of a house, and it's looking basically it's pointed at the neighboring house, which is a small, quiet, comfortably upper middle class suburban dwelling. You guess like somewhere in Renton, it's nighttime, and the front door of the thing bangs open, and basically two like 1920s like Al Capone style gangsters, like movie versions of gangsters, come out the front door holding a struggling like what's look like an 8-year-old kid, and they're obviously not having much trouble with it, but there's two of them holding onto it regardless. They've got Tommy guns in the hands that aren't holding the child, and like a third one who's like wearing a bigger hat and a bigger coat, kind of like a bigger overcoat, steps out, and like a Japanese woman tries to come out of the thing, like obviously to get to the child, and he just turns around and punches her right in the face, like back through the doorway. This is all like fairly grainy and low grade. And they go down to a what you'd identify as a 1920s Rolls Royce car. It's like silvery white in color, and they get in and they drive off. He says, he ends the footage and he says, that car was a Rolls Royce silver ghost. There are none in the world except replicas. All of those belong to billionaires. None of them were in Seattle on that night.
Well, either one was, or they have a pretty darn powerful mage with them.
Yeah, those outfits look a bit weird and like sort of stand out a little bit. I don't know if mages can do that.
I've seen one do it.
Oh well, hey, who knows? Do you have any other footage that we have that we could access or anything?
I
Or
found
is
some
it...
scattered shots of the car as it went through the city. The car seemed to be heading here. Sorry. The car seemed to be heading towards. It was heading north from Renton, but I lost it in Bellevue. There was an area that did not have enough cameras. I've gone through many hours of footage and had a friend of mine go through more, a decker, but nothing.
And your wife corroborates that this is what they look like? Because, I mean, this is some cartoonish looking shit, if you ask me.
Yes. Fuyuki had to go to the hospital, but I went there and I showed her the footage, and she said yes, that will it look like.
All right. Are there any security cameras on the roads near your house? Have you explored that avenue?
Yes, I looked through those things. He says my home was like very wistfully in Renton. The security cameras near the house. I found the footage of the car, and it head north, just into Bellevue, but then I lost it. I don't know where it went from there. There's no footage that I can find. I can give you the time and the place where I lost the car.
Okay. That would be helpful.
And he says,
So Poncho,
and I
put that on
insist
trip.
that, and as I said, I insist that I be allowed to accompany you in your investigations. I cannot. If you find anything, I wish to go with you to protect my child.
Hey, I understand. I have no problems with it if you want to come with.
I in the back.
Someone with a familiar background as you, Kama, I would suggest that you not come with us.
Clenches his fist on the table, and like he's got some kind of augmentation in it that like basically sharp blades come out of where the knuckles should be, and there's something liquidy on them, and then like he like relaxes and they slide back in. He says, "No, I cannot. He's like clearly losing control of himself at the idea of letting you guys go and find his child while he like hides out somewhere or something."
Hey, there's no need for like releasing your blades and that there. Come on.
I apologize for losing control of myself. He says,
No.
but I insist.
Friend, are you going to be able to control yourself when we do this, though? I believe that is of paramount importance.
He gathers himself up, like, and sits up, and like kind of meets your eye with like a steely-eyed gaze, and he says, "If it is in the service of finding my child, I will endure any privation."
Okay, well, that sounds good.
Alright, well, I'd imagine before we move forward with this, we should all decide if we're going to be on this.
Do you have a plan to escape the city? It does us no good to rescue your daughter if she's going to be left. Well, no, it still does us good, but do you have a plan to get out of the city?
I believe that my boss will not harm my family. I strongly believe this, and further that he can protect them from my enemies once I have retrieved my child. Their location in Renton was secret. None knew it. None, only I, and I doubt I was followed. I am at a loss as to how or why they were taken. But for myself, once I found my child, I'll have no difficulties leaving the city. He says, like this guy's giving off the impression of someone who's extremely ridiculously competent, but has like run into a problem that he just can't solve despite his competency. And Sacrum, who's heard of this guy, does know this guy was an extremely effective hitman. If I was going to say professional rating, I'd say 6.
Huh. Okay. All right.
Also, I'm not trying to railroad guys here. If you want to like ditch him or like make a social check to try to convince him to stay behind, although he will get circumstantial modifiers because he's obsessed with finding his child, you can definitely attempt that.
Dr. Feelgood won't be attempting to dissuade him from coming with.
Yep. So what are you rolling?
Oh, I'm not rolling anything. I'm not trying to stop him.
Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, Andy.
Oh, sorry. Dr. Feelgood isn't going to stop him. He won't. Like, if he wants to try and help us find his child, the more the merrier.
Yeah. Okay. So given these confusing circumstances that I've just outlined, does anyone have any knowledge skills that they might want to roll to try to, or other checks they may wish to roll to get see what their characters would conclude or remember?
Da, 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 da. How does area knowledge Lima sound to you?
I can give you all kinds of facts about Lima.
All right. I have nothing. I have Shadow Community. That probably wouldn't help.
You can pick up from this guy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, but you can pick up that he's been focusing almost entirely on the organized crime. He's been looking for people who he's wronged who come and taken his child.
Yeah. I actually have a Yakuza boss. It says he's a 4-1, so he may be more of a lieutenant boss than an actual boss. But I have a Yakuza contact. I just realized. Wait, that doesn't help us. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should ring up the Yakuza and tell him you've got a guy here who's like pissed off some Yakuza. Maybe you could hand them over to him for a price. Finish the job early.
How much?
If you want to find out, if you want to quietly send a message to this guy and ask how much money's on this guy's head,
yeah,
you can definitely do that.
I'll do it.
Feels of this run are turning south.
I mean, the feels on this run could literally go both ways.
Yep.
If you catch my drift.
60,000 million.
How much?
60,000 million, dead or alive.
4 of us. Gonna keep this information to myself for now.
Might be prudent.
And the favor of whoever brings a favor to whoever brings him in, the favor of a branch of the Yakuza to whoever brings him in. So that would be worth a contact.
Knowledge skills. So, area knowledge, Seattle, matrix groups, security design, shell community, and underworld.
I actually have one that might be worthwhile. I have the knowledge skill, rumors.
Ooh.
I'm not sure what you would choose to reveal from that, but I'd imagine if shit's going down, there might be rumors about it.
Is there any specific kind of rumor that this is, or is this generic rumors?
It is generic rumors.
Ooh,
Whenever I run at Greg's table, he always asks if I have rumors. So I made a character that has rumors.
Remember, guys, rumors can be
It's
wrong.
so broad.
I'm
I'll
going
allow
to.
anyone
It's
who isn't,
really
like-
broad. I'm going to pre-edge this.
Any knowledge on any groups that are not ultra? So,
That's disgusting.
wow, that's disgusting.
Don't break the run on account of that roll.
No, don't worry. This is nothing you can do will break this run. This one's break proof. Okay, so 5 successes. Okay, you have heard of these guys before, these gangsters, right? There's been people talking about this new fashion trend lately that's been happening up in Everett. There's a new fashion trend to dress like 1920s gangsters, or rather, they've been seeing people dress like that, and fashion shows have been like talking about it constantly. How it might be a new street trend.
Okay. I think I might have an idea or two what's going down, or at least where to look, but I want to make sure everybody's on board before I start giving out my valuable information.
I'm on board.
I am as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, assuming everyone agrees, he bows his head to you, like deeply, like in the kind of way that the Japanese people aren't, like, where it's all like abject sort of deference thing. Like he's not on the ground shoving his forehead against the floor, but it's like one step above that. And then he looks up and he says thank you, and it's clearly like that his love for his child is far greater than his pride. He says,
Poncho's happy to see that.
like he's like a smart, like quick-witted looking guy. So like like, you can imagine him as a father, and he would not be a terrible father. But
You can judge
obviously the
that by
situation.
just. Sorry, we
Sorry?
can judge that there by just looking at him.
Well, I mean, you can get a measure of this guy after hearing him pour his soul out all over the fucking table. Yeah. But no, he's definitely at the end of his rope. He's strung out. So yeah, so he says, I have no idea how to proceed. None. So you said that you
I have
some
some
clue.
thoughts.
Yeah, I've been hearing, and listen, I haven't been in town for too long, but I've been hearing that this kind of weird-ass trend has been taking over up in Everett, so there's a good chance we can possibly find some information about it there.
He says Everett. So hold on out of character for a second. Is there a crime? Who rules Everett in terms of crime, organized crime? Who's up there?
One of the
'Cause I don't
mafias.
know.
Or no, are they in Snohomish? So I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it's one of the mafias. He says, I looked into the name of mafia. They seem to have nothing to do with it.
I'm not saying they had anything to do with it. I'm just saying that that weird ass style seems very popular in Everett.
He says, I see. He stands up and says, well, let us head there immediately.
Hold on. Well, actually, no. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go. I can do shit in the car.
Okay, like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy is super competent and like a cool guy, but right now he's strung out and not making good decisions. So keep that in mind when I say that he says stuff, because he's incredibly sleep deprived and filled with worry and fear, and so it's not operating his best by a long shot.
Friend, I know you're very distraught right now, but I'd imagine, you're not the only player in this game. Your wife is probably pretty upset as well. Might be best if you go and spend some time with her and help her out. We're on the case. You're paying us, so, I mean, there's no money in it for us if we don't find this person. Might be better if you focus a little bit more on your family while we do this.
He looks at you and he says, I promised Bayuki that I would find Asame. or die. Find Sami or die trying.
I don't mean to.
I cannot show my face to her until I have succeeded.
All right, man, have it your way. I mean, in the future, it might help you a little bit if you spend a little more time with your family and not out doing crazy gangster shit. I don't mean to speak out of turn, but it seems indicative of the issue.
Oh, God, that's a heavy blow. You can see, like, okay, first of all, you get the feeling he actually did spend a lot of time with his family. But second, from talking to him. But secondly, like, he seems definitely extremely ready. You don't even need to roll anything to totally blame himself for what has occurred. Like, you just punched him right in his weak spot. Like, it's your fault your child got taken. You're a bad father. So he's like, oh, and like he doesn't like actually go, oh, but he's like he contains it. But he's like, I understand. Nonetheless, I must insist.
Like I said, you can do what you want. Anyway. Well done, Poncho. It's unresisted emotional damage, actually.
Okay. Bad father.
So,
Bad father.
I guess we should be underway.
Yeah.
Because I have a vehicle here. Should you wish to take that?
I prefer my ride, if you don't mind.
What
We
sort of
should
car is it?
not take your vehicle given your circumstance already.
Yeah, it might be a nice car. What sort of car is it?
He drives an armored sedan that is very expensive and high class and black.
Does it have the stats
It's
of
a Mercedes.
Does it have the stats of a Concordant?
It has the stats of the fanciest non-limousine car, whose name I forget.
Westwind, I believe. Oh, Dr. Feelgood's car is a step down from that. He'd be like, oh, that's a nice car. But yeah, no, we should probably just take our own things. Do you wanna, like, I got room in my car. If anybody wants to join me, it's nice.
Mr. Kaze, what did you say? Where in Everett did you say that these people have been seen?
I don't remember specifically where you mentioned in Everett.
You don't know. Yeah, all all that was said was that there were some people wearing all this like cool retro gear, like old style mobsters in Everett. It was just the name of the area.
Yep. I don't know exactly. We're probably gonna have to trawl a little bit before we pick up anything.
Does anyone have any contacts that are fashionistas or that live in Everett? Maybe you can give them a ring.
Dama?
Yeah, I have Dama as well.
She's that fashionista who likes cross-dressing people, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I will give you hints, and these are just things your characters might think of that are relevant. Is all. I'm not ordering you to do anything. It's up to you. But if you do ring her up, just let me know.
Yeah, Sacrum would.
Okay, you ring her up. Dama's like, hey, what's up?
Need to know about people with 1920s gangster clothing in Everett.
Oh my god, they have been lighting up the scene. Some people originally thought they were related to the local mafia, but they are not. They're extremely mysterious. They're not on any. They don't have any. They're not on any of the fashion blogs. Could you roll me your level of connection? Sorry, her connection ×2 plus your level of loyalty with her, please.
Okay.
Yep. No, they are. Yep. Okay. So what she tells you is they're not like just random fashion people, or like cosplayers. No one knows who they are. They've been seen in central Everett and northern Snohomish. and they're always driving around in these like expensive like retro cars, and no one's ever seen where they go. So they're not, and they're not connected to the local mafia. Is what she says.
Okay. So I'll relay that back.
Yep, and everyone's going there is going to drive to Everett separately.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Dr. Feelgood, before everybody leaves, will shoot a DNI request to everybody.
Oh yeah, I assumed that
Yeah.
we would have done that.
Yep.
I always assume you don't.
That's nice of you.
Are we putting the Johnson on the DNI network?
We can have two.
Yeah,
You
what's
have
the
to?
term?
We can have two.
Oh yeah.
One with, one
I don't-
without.
Yeah, that's my suggestion.
I love how Shadowrunners just like trust each other. It's so beautiful.
There is honor
You
among
have to.
thieves,
You have to.
Some of my
Well.
characters don't.
except for freaking. Who was it?
Ben.
No, not Finn. The one before Finn.
Victor, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
asshole.
No, Shane.
Oh, shame.
Anyway, sorry.
Shame.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay. As you're driving up.
whilst
Sorry.
whilst driving, can I do some stuff in the Matrix?
Yeah, you definitely can.
Whilst being grid guided, grid guided.
My assumption is that if you have a good enough car, you can just. I mean, like it's not like you're trying to drive through the Barrens or some shit. You're driving through downtown to Everett. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, well, he has a motorcycle, but even then, it's still like self-driving enough.
If you're not on some like horrific death machine that doesn't have a built-in AI, then yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If I were to Matrix Percept, what would the rating of the host that houses the traffic data be?
Well, let me just look up the host rating table for you.
Okay. It's probably between 9 and 12. Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm
7 and
thinking.
12. Low-level government, 7, 8. High-level major government is 9, 10. 11, 12 is
I'm gonna
military.
say, you're looking for basically the traffic cameras, right?
Yeah.
3 days ago, it's low level. If you wanted like a week ago, that's a secure government, so it's 10. So you're looking at 8 for the last week's worth of footage from the public avenue cameras.
Okay, and what would its firewall be?
It's focused on data processing, so its firewall is 9.
Okay. So this would be the host that has the data that he already showed us, that he like lost track of them with.
Presumably yes, although he might have gotten different, lesser data. This is like all the traffic cameras, not just like some of them that some people have attached little devices to hack and get a copy of the feed.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna say it
With
will
that-
have more than what he found, but it might have more.
Okay. Then with that, Poncho is going to start under his breath, reciting what at this point I'm saying is hundreds of Unix design principles, which is how he focuses himself when decking, and starts hacking this host.
All right.
If Roll20 will roll dice for me. Because it's saying it's rolling dice. I have a sneaking suspicion it's not.
I haven't seen any. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There's a bunch.
Going to pre-edge. I'm going to pre-edge and go for 3 marks on it right off the bat.
Holy shit. All
Hey,
right.
you don't get to keep all of the ones from your things. Just
It's limited by skill rating, yeah?
yeah, it's skill rating.
You can get a maximum amount of dice from any number of team
Yeah,
tests
so like-
equal to skill rating, but each additional test gives +1 limit, which is actually important when you're rolling that many dice.
Uh,
So how many of those
Yeah.
12 do you keep?
all of them. I broke limits.
Oh, right, yes.
3 edge break limits.
Damn, you get 3 marks on the traffic control host.
Cool. What would you like me to do to find this data? Matrix perception or search?
Definitely matrix perception. That's how you find data inside a host. So just roll that, and it'll be against a flat threshold.
Okay. If this will. That's alright, I know things. I know how to do this. Telling my agents do shit. I believe I keep. Oh no, I do. Yes, all of them, but no more.
You're a filthy man, and yeah, you discern the specific logs that you want in amongst all the data, and of like literally a week's worth of every camera on every major road in the entirety of
Okay.
Seattle. You find so basically what he said was that he had a place at a time where he lost the car. These logs are not encrypted, just obviously due to ease of working with them. So you can call up the file and look at it, and you can see actually where what he was talking about is where the camera like catches the thing driving towards it, and then if you shift to the next camera along, it's gone. Like it's literally it enters the intersection and goes underneath the camera, and then you switch to the next camera from the far side of the intersection, and there's nothing. There's no there's other traffic. There's the car in front and behind that car. There is no silver Rolls Royce between the two. It just vanishes from one frame to the next.
Okay. I would like to go back to the previous frame and make notes of all the cars in that frame. Go to the next one and cross-check them. See if one of them has changed, or if a new one has appeared.
No, as far as you can tell, the car, like no new cars are added, no other cars disappear. The location of the other cars doesn't change. And you look at it with your expert eyes, and you can, and you look at like the road, like if someone's edited the car out of the footage, and if they did it bloody fucking brilliantly.
Okay. Could I analyze this data to see if I can detect someone editing it?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know
Roll
even
me,
what check that would be. Perception?
just roll me edit file.
Okay.
Because I see us going into it and checking to see who's like done
Yeah,
stuff
no,
to
that
it.
makes sense. I'd buy that. This is data processing. Only keep 10.
You only keep 10. What curses you live under?
I can do the math again if you want, but
No, it's fine. It's really fine. Yeah, okay. With 11 successes, you look at it, or 10 rather. You look at it and you go, has anyone edited this? You look, there's like it's been looked at. It's like been copied a couple of times. Like automated bots that are part of the traffic processing thing have changed it. But like again, there's no real way to be entirely sure. But if someone did edit into this and change it, they were as good at hacking as they were at video image editing. So either someone really as hot shit as you went in and changed it and left no sign of their presence, or it hasn't been edited by anything other than the traffic control registry's normal bots that shift and prune the data.
Okay. So Punch will make a note of that intersection. And at this point, he will DNI to the team. So I was able to trace the car to X intersection, but no further. I can't detect any hacking on. Oh, by the way, I'm in the camera system of the city. I can't detect any editing of this footage, but we might want to start in this intersection.
I have marked the intersection with a red X on the map.
Thank you, sir.
You did that all very quickly, so you guys are currently around there, depending on the vehicle speed. And talking on your cell phone as well, driving like very, very bad people.
What do you think?
I think we got a good place to start.
Yeah, we have a place to start, and if nothing comes up there, we can always keep going back to Everett.
Okay.
So you can to Bellevue. Do you let Johnson know that, or is he driving to Everett by himself?
No, keep him with
As I
us.
recall, it on two separate. You guys have your own little private DNI, and then you've got a big official DNI with him.
I would have shared this with everybody, including you,
Yeah.
Johnson. I see no reason to withhold this information.
He says yes. His DNI comes through and it says yes, and he DNIs with text rather than a spoken voice. He says yes, full stop. I hired a man, a very skilled decker, and he said much the same. I went to the place myself and found nothing odd there. I assumed it had been edited.
Wait, this is the same location?
No, you found he told you about that time and place, and that was where he lost their trail. Remember? And that's why you went looking for that specific time and place. And he says over the DNI that yes, that location is the same one my decker told me about when my decker was trying to trace it by the video camera footage. But I assumed that the footage had been edited to remove their car.
I'm sorry, I completely misunderstood that. I thought this was a new location. In that case, it's really not a lead. And I apologize for inadvertently attempting to hijack the rut.
Way to go, Punch.
No, it is a lead. Like it's the car did disappear in a weird way. You could go there and see if you could figure out what happened there. That's definitely something you can try.
So just so that we are on the same page, because I guess I wasn't before. From one frame to the next, the car is there and then isn't. And
when it passes from one camera's view to another, there's a point where like basically it should appear on a second camera and then it just doesn't. Like there's like a meter of space between the viewpoints of the two cameras, and in that meter of space, it's gone. Like and it's very easy to see why he assumed that someone edited the footage, because if someone edited the footage from one camera but not from the other, that's exactly what it would look like. It would disappear from one camera to the next. But
okay,
if you're a magical character, right? You're awakened.
I'm sorry? Yes.
Is Poncho awakened? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Poncho has any knowledge of how magic works. He would know that magic invisibility works on some cameras, but not on others. Like sometimes cameras make their object resistance roll, and sometimes they don't. So sometimes cameras see through invisibility, and sometimes they don't see through invisibility. And that's what this would look like also.
No, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Like if there is a space in the road that it looks that for some reason cars are not occupying.
So it wasn't rush hour traffic, so there were gaps between the cars, which could have contained silver Rolls Royce, but like there is a gap that like it could have been in. It's just because the cars weren't tightly packed on the road, so it's impossible to tell.
Okay, well, then I guess so. We have already what this car looks like relative to the other ones in terms of dimensions on these cameras.
Yep.
Can we superimpose that image and cross out any spots that it could not fit in, and then keep track of the ones that it could? Or would there be too
Look at
many?
the brain on Poncho.
There's a lot of spaces where it could fit. Like I said, it's not rush hour traffic. It's like there's a couple of cars on the road. It was like 9 p.m. when she got taken. and so like there's a lot of places where it could be, and so you could try to look at all the cars and see if the cars are like avoiding a certain spot on the road and do that, and that would be a logic plus intuition test, and would require you to be looking at a lot of different traffic folders because it could have branched off at any number of turnings.
Right.
So
I will happily do that test for you, because of reasons. Logic plus intuition, you say?
yes,
Oh wait, that's wrong. Can I pre-edge it?
you may. You can pre-edge attribute only tests, right? I mean, you can use edge on them. It's only edge tests that you can't.
Yep, edge
Yeah,
tests
I
and
think
skill
so.
wire tests. Those are
Yep,
the
Yeah,
only
yep.
I
things
just
that
wanted to
cannot be
make sure
edged.
because this is kind of like a test that you're just kind of setting forth, so I figured I should check.
Well, attribute only tests are in the rules, I'm pretty sure. But holy fuck. What?
Because drugs are a thing, as
Oh,
are pretty
you're
much every
dirty.
piece of wear. I am.
You're a horrible monster. Oh Jesus, you're 26d6 on an attribute only test. Fuck me.
I have to pre-edge. After the pre-edge.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
am very proud of that 7 edge because I bought it up from 2. I will have everyone know in stream and in game.
That's a lot of karma. Alright. Okay, you do it. You start pulling up like multiple different streams of video, and you're like looking at them all, and you're cross-referencing them, and you determine that there is no possible space this car could have been in, unless like it could phase through other cars. Like cars turn onto the road, like you're trying to time it in your head, and you're looking from thing to thing, and you're like, no, this is impossible. It disappeared. It was not just invisible; it was gone. Unless someone edited these files or put an illusion on the cameras to create false cars where there were
dirty.
in the actual thing.
And that's
And with
incredibly
10
plausible,
successes,
motherfucker.
and with 10 successes, actually, no, you backtrack all the cars that fill those spots on the road, and you're like, they would have had to have put those in 10 minutes earlier to fool you. No, it just disappeared. It's more likely that that car was an illusion than that it went invisible.
Holy shit.
Fucking 10 successes on an intuition plus logic test, like, yeah, you can work out all this out like very quickly and not care. It
certainly takes time. Well, All right. Poncho will just kind of. So while he's doing that, we can do other things because there's no way that takes like milliseconds.
No, you're on hot sim speed, but you still
Nope.
and like the drive to Everett.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Poncho is always AR.
Okay. Well, it's a long drive to Everett, so you do get it done by the time you start to enter Snohomish. You chase them all the leads, and then can just jump out of the host.
All right. I will relay everything that I've found to the squad, namely that unless someone hacked my brain, this card disappeared or was never there.
And not like disappeared like invisible. Disappeared like just teleported.
Now.
Which is impossible.
Yeah, we know there are rules to Shadowrun.
Mm-hmm. And Tridio, or Trid Phantasm is one of them. Levitate's another. Motherfucker.
Alright, so...
That was a really good attempt to solve that problem. I'm sorry that you failed.
Barring...
I did not
incidents.
fail. I just eliminated one possibility.
Barring any incidents, we arrive in Everett.
Yeah. You arrive in the beautiful suburbs of Everett.
What time of day is it now?
I'm gonna say it's hold on. Okay, it's 7 p.m. and raining.
Okay. So people are still out doing stuff, but it is rainy Pacific
Yep,
Northwest.
there's people out, but less than there otherwise would be because of the rain. Although, you know, Seattle, so there's still nearly as many because they're just used to it. So you pull up somewhere in central-ish Everett, and the Johnson who's been kind of keeping a very specific distance from the rear bumper of someone's car, like he's going with you to Everett, and he's not like tailgating you, but only because of like due to his impatience, only because of his self-control. He jumps out of his car, like slams the door shut, like comes over to the car that he was following with like a nervous energy, bouncing in his stride, and like kind of like, you know, like looking around left, right. His head's on the fucking swivel.
Yep. Where do they pull up?
Sorry, where do you pull up?
I'd imagine. Well, I mean, I had imagined that at least Shadow would probably drive around a little bit, start looking for people that are dressed in that fashion, and if not, start hitting up nightclubs looking for people that are dressed up that way. Just try to get a feel for who these people are.
Okay, so you want to drive through areas of Everett that have like shops and things and you know whatnot, looking for people on the sidewalk dressed in that fashion.
Dressed like complete goofballs, yeah.
Yeah, so you can roll me a perception for that if you'd like, or
Tracking,
you can use
maybe?
navigation to create a search pattern, or there's any number of things, or tracking.
I would like to use tracking. I have a specialization in urban.
Yep,
And my dude is tracker, so...
people,
Go ahead.
are other people doing this? Because this is an extended test and you can all contribute hits.
Yeah, Sacramento as well.
What is this tracking?
Perception, tracking, or navigation, up to you.
I'll try to help out with the tracking.
Would it be possible for me to do like a matrix perception, search through the matrix to see if there's any areas that stand out where people have like taken photographs of people dressed like this here and that there?
Yeah, you want to be trolling Twitter and fashion blogs looking for people who've like seen these people on the street and try to plot it together. That would definitely be a thing you could do. Roll me matrix search. Okay, and
My
between you
mental
got...
limit is... Oh,
Would you like me to help you?
With the assist, I can keep all 6 of those.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you can all just contribute your assists to the thing rather than teamwork, but either way...
Well, sorry, I only got 5 there. If we're just doing it as like a teamworked extended, then...
Yeah, I think you can just have all do... You can, anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Do what
I'm
works
just
for
going
you,
to
man.
count
Your
the
table.
successes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12. Anyway, that's 12 successes. Yeah, you guys start driving around the streets looking for people who are dressed like this. And you do find one. Outside a nightclub, there is a guy walking with a group of guys and girls, and he is dressed like that. Or in that style. None of the rest are, though. Something about that way that he's dressed, though, like he's a little bit off. Like it's not quite the same as the guys who took the girl.
Yep. Okay. Then Shadow would get out of his vehicle, set it to just like take a slow trip around the block, so it's mobile and not parked, but still around, you know. And go up to approach the guy. While he's doing that, he will access his skill wire network and get con and intimidation.
Sacram's gonna set up across the street and light a smoke under a building.
Nice. Yeah, okay, so you approach this group. They're like one of those kind of like drunk yuppie crowds. They're all like gabbing away and talking to each other and walking down the thing. The guy with the overcoat's a little bit detached from the whole group, but he's like a part of the group. But he's not like kind of quite as they are.
Yeah.
A little bit less drunk.
Okay. Yeah. Pancho kind of looked like he's just walking down the street, and did I say Pancho? I meant Shadow. And would come up to the guy and say, "Hey, man, I really like I like your duds. You look good. Where'd you? I seen a couple other people like this. Where'd you get this fashion idea from?" And I
For
will
a second,
roll.
he's like, "Are you taking the piss?" And then he goes, and he breaks into a huge smile, and he says, "Yeah, you heard about this too." He says, "Yeah, people have been wearing there's this crazy retro fashion running through this whole place. So I had these duds made in that style. You like it? Yeah, I like your style too, man."
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, Shadow's kind of just wearing like armor jacket, pair of very nice jeans, and like very fashionable fashion sneakers. But he still just he doesn't look. He kind of has a little bit of a rednecky vibe about him. But yeah, he's like, "Oh, thanks, man. That's real kind of you to say that. It's a real kindness." But I was just wondering, where'd you get the idea to start doing this thing? I was kind of curious about the origins of this whole fashion
He
movement.
says, "I saw one of these guys dressed up like this, and I thought, wow, that's a great look. Why hasn't that come back yet?" And I decided to do it myself. Especially, it doesn't hurt that like all the fashion shows are talking about it.
Oh, you saw it at a fashion
This guy
show?
likes my outfit. He yells at one of the girls who is presumably in a relationship with him, and she turns around and she's like, "Oh yeah, like you're soon surrounded by like laughing, chattering yuppies who invite you to go drinking with them."
Where are you headed to?
The Cat and Cable. It's a Decker bar.
Decker Bar.
Wait,
That sounds
did I
really
come back
cool.
to?
Cooley's
Sorry,
chatting up
what?
a doofus that's dressed up like he's from the 20s.
Sorry.
Thinks he's Cagney or something. Yeah, so
Okay, sorry.
Shadow graciously accepts and DNIs the team. You said it's the Cat and Cable?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, DNIs the team that he has met a person, I don't know, probably used as a pejorative there, but that they are going to the Cat and Cable, which is a Decker bar. And that seems to be that potentially that is an integral place. They don't like you dirty techno types. Dr. Liquid. But I love you.
Shut up.
Gentle soldier of my soul.
I
Oh,
love you. Oh, I just
Okay,
heard
so-
Decker. I heard Decker bar, and I was like, oh, cool, yay! I can use this thing.
No, we
I'm
can't.
very sorry.
Apparently.
Not a Decker. That's the problem.
Shut up! I'm a Decker if I wanna be.
all right. So I guess let's go to this Decker bar.
Yeah, so Shadow will get taken along by the drunk yuppies to the Decker bar, to the air quotes Decker bar. And what it is it's a thing covered in like there's lots of pseudo tech stuff like on the walls, and the drinks are like Decker themed and stuff, but there's no actual Deckers there. It's just suburbanites out for a night's fun. It's
So, like-
it's not actually a Decker bar.
So like they've
Okay,
got like
so
they've
go
got
ahead.
like fake data jocks and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything there is fake, and like there's like circuit boards like glued to the wall and stuff.
Oh, so I would feel very offended entering this place.
Yeah. So is everyone converging on this place, or are you just letting Shadow go in by himself?
Yes, like God, we shall converge.
So the Shadowrunners converge
Alright,
on this suburbanite drinking hole. All right, yeah. This is going to end extremely well. So Okay, so you get invited there. I guess is you're pumping this guy for information, more information.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out, where else he finds the people of this style, hang out. Where he got, if he noticed it's particularly popular amongst certain crowds, or is it just yuppies that are into this? Or obviously, he doesn't say just yuppies, but just fine young people like yourself.
Okay.
You want me to roll like a con roll or something to see how well he does this?
You could definitely roll something. Yeah, it's probably going to be in terms of just how long it takes because they're drunk and they're not going to be very hard to get information out of.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right. So uh, you don't need to apply them with alcohol because they apply themselves with alcohol like really fast, a bunch. And they're already pretty soused. So they get so like you get this guy talking about his duds, and that's a really good topic for him, and he would lovingly talk about this for a long time because he's a very boring person, and his duds are pretty much the only interesting part of him. Um,
And they're not even that interesting.
oh no, they're an inferior copy of the kind of garments that were in the video. Like the garments in the video had like the kind of they were a lot like they were fitted to the people who were wearing them, and they were better fabrics, and they were like more kind of authentic in many ways. This guy's stuff is clearly like once you look at it more closely, is a copy that he's had someone make up based on like a picture on a fashion blog. And he will talk about that. And apparently, that once you talk to him, you get out of him that he did see um, a guy wearing this, and that guy was in a laundromat in an area of Everett that I'll mark on your map in green. I'll mark on your map right now. It's in basically a little bit south from where you are now. Roughly there. And he'll say that he saw the guy in there and he was impressed with his duds and so on and so forth. And it's a laundromat in that area of Everett.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, friend. I'll see you later. And Shadow abruptly disconnects himself from these people.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, no, it's yeah, cool. Like they're drunk and then they want you to stay and keep drinking with them because drunk people always want. And but you're like, whoop whoop whoop, escape, and you probably get that with 3 successes. You probably get that before, like by the time everyone's conversion level up, but it still takes you like half an hour. Dr. Feelgood, by going through many fashion pages, which is like leaves a sour and disgusting taste in your mouth. Eventually, you find someone who looks like they've actually done what looks like something similar to you, but with more knowledge of the topic. Like they've gathered together all the sightings and a lot of information on the 1920s retro phenomenon, and they have started putting together all these sightings, and they've found that the concentration of these people is actually in. I'm going to circle it on the map. And that very rarely will any of these people be seen on their own. Usually it's in a small group of people dressed the same way, 3 to 5, and they're all male. And they talk in a funny accent as well. Like Chicago, 1920s Chicago mobster accent, to be precise.
They're doing like the transcontinental Chicago crazy. Okay.
Well, it's also 2070, so,
Yeah.
It's oldie-timey to talk like that. And yeah, so you find that site, and you also find the contact details for the person who runs that specific fashion blog, and it seems like they've dug up a lot more than they put into their article. So you might be able to, if you get in touch with them, perhaps they might know more.
Okay. Well,
Would you like to know more?
Dr.
Would you like to
Feelgood.
know more?
Dr. Feelgood. Being the nice guy, will send everybody the relevant information and be like, hey, this person seems like they might know more. Maybe we want to talk to them. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
Definitely should. That if Shadow's sure that we've got the laundromat information, then we have 2 leads to follow up on.
Like, if you want, I can, like, arrange, like, us to meet on the tricks.
That sounds mighty fine. Like a great idea.
Oh, thanks.
Good work, buddy.
I try. So I guess everybody's coming on the Matrix, and Dr. Feelgood's gonna like attempt to contact this person.
Okay, so you all meet up in front of the bar, and then you're going to go into the Matrix and try to contact this person. Before you do that, though, are you just doing that while like all in your cars parked nearby, or are you going to do that like making any more elaborate preparations?
Shadow is not a Matrix person, so he is probably not going to Matrix. He'll probably just head to the laundromat.
Okay, so we're splitting the
Sacrum
party.
will go with him.
Okay, so Sacrum and Shadow are heading to the laundromat of Doom. And Dr. Feelgood is going to be contacting the fashion blogger, the fashionista. And what's Poncho doing?
I'll go with Feel Good. I'll be back up.
Okay. So Poncho and Dr. Feelgood are sitting in a car ringing this person, and the other two are heading to a laundromat. Okay. The guy whose name I got wrong earlier, it's actually Amasuke Kuro, but the guy you know is Como anyway. He said the dad is when like you've been following up these clues, he's just kind of like silently following, and then like when you're all getting ready to split up outside the thing, he gets out his hand and he goes and like hits himself in the forehead like 3 times, just really like synaptic booster quickly. And like when he pulls his hand away, there's blood on his forehead, which he wipes away with like a kerchief in like one again extremely swift motion. And he says, "In less than an hour, you have found a lead on this. I feel foolish."
Hey, don't beat yourself up, friend. Like, I don't want you getting blood in the interior. But also like 'cause it hurts, I imagine.
So the pain is nothing compared to the pain in my heart.
Oh, that okay. Well, yeah. Well, me and my friend here, we're gonna go on. We're gonna possibly see if we can get this person to give us more information. I'll be going into hot sim, so I'm not gonna be moving.
He says, yes, please do not let me interrupt your efforts. I deeply
Oh no!
appreciate it.
If you
Oh
think
no! Don't
if you
worry
think
about it.
if you think of something, you can let me know, because I will not be in hot sim.
Oh, okay. You gonna be in cold sim?
I'll be in augmented reality. Don't worry about me. It'll be alright.
Oh, all right. Well, like I could be in that there, but hot sim's nice sometimes.
Like being in a nice hot spa.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Feelgood will be going on hot sim.
Yep, you could jump into hot sim and contact this person, but like you've got like a chat handle and a com code that you picked up of an old deactivated faceplant account.
Ooh.
It's like Facebook
Uh,
with the plants.
Dr. Feelgood, Dr. Feelgood has online fame. So they don't see me, so I get the bonus dice. Yay!
Okay, so you're gonna go for the chat handle. All right.
Yeah, sure.
So you log on to the chat, and what's the message you're gonna send them to like kind of get their attention and get them to reply?
I guess I will be messaging about that I'm interested in. I don't want to say information regarding them. Like maybe I don't know. I don't want to come on too strong, guys. Give me input here.
This guy's a blogger, right? Or did I miss things completely?
This person is a fashion blogger, yes. And actually, could you roll me your edge, Dr. Feelgood, just to see, and also let me know if you're using your online famous name.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll be using my living persona, which is my famous one.
Yeah. Okay, then roll me edge to see if they've heard of you, because they're not.
I did just roll edge.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Well, uh, yeah. Unfortunately, your online fame will not apply. because this person is a fashion person first, and they're on the Matrix. But so is everyone. They're not a Matrix, a person who knows much about the Matrix.
Okay.
Well, you know.
Somebody's talking, but they're sort of breaking up at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that, whoever that was. Hello?
I can hear you. I just don't. I don't know. If no one speaks up, then we can just roll on. I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So they don't know about my online fame. That's okay. Like, it's cool.
So what's your approach? You're saying,
I'll possibly start up with like some conversation about, hey, oh, someone dropped. Is it Poncho?
yeah.
Yeah, Poncho dropped. Okay, well,
That's all right. I'm sure he'll come back when his thing recovers. Yep, so you're just saying...
I'm probably going to inquire about like maybe some of their other things that they talked about in their blog, and then go into the other part.
Yep, okay. So you can go, hey, I saw your blog and other stuff from the blog, and, you know, you got a second to talk and so on. This person's a relatively famous fashion blogger, so
Hello?
they get a lot of people. Hello, we can hear you now. A lot of people try to talk to them. So roll me. What would you be rolling to be interesting?
Probably
You know,
etiquette.
etiquette. You know, sort of fluff up my online fame.
Yeah. All right, etiquette.
Yeah,
So give me an
sure.
etiquette roll. You're wanting 3, so it's not a huge bar.
It's still problematic for me.
You could also just try charisma plus intuition as an attribute only roll.
Yeah, that would actually work way better. So yeah, I'll roll my
Yeah, in one
charisma
case
plus
you're
intuition.
using what you've learned, in the other case you're just going off your raw kind of gut instinct. So give me a charisma plus intuition.
Yay.
Oh wow, Jesus. Okay. So Dr. Feelgood just like doesn't need etiquette. Etiquette's beneath him. Yeah, you get an immediate reply from I'm gonna say this person is online handle is catfashion2696. As cat with a K, not a C. She says, "Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. You know, I'm always happy to hear from fans."
Can you give me an idea of what one I specifically talked about? Out of her, I assume, many great blog posts.
You mentioned something about how fruit hats are coming back in amongst the social elite or something. There was an article about that.
Yeah, okay. So, Dr. Feelgood talk a little bit about that there. Maybe talk about another interesting piece that got a lot of views, and then he'll bring up the piece that we're actually interested in.
Yeah, as kind of time goes on, you get the feeling this person like isn't like they like talking with fans, but they're not going to like necessarily just keep talking about stuff for ages. And you bring up the 1920s thing, and she says, and then the fashion blogger goes, yeah, that's extremely strange. I haven't found anyone who's responsible for that. Did you know? There's no one person who's responsible for it. There's no one who'll come forward and say that they've been wearing it. It's a mystery.
Oh well, I've been trying. I'll be honest. I've been trying to find them myself. Like it's different. Like, you know, it's really out there. And like, I know a few people who would maybe be like, you know, interested in, like, well, not have it. Maybe just bring them in for like a small photo shoot sometime. But I've been trying to find them basically.
She says, "Oh my God, I knew it. You're a scout for a fashion house, aren't you?"
Like sometimes I do a lot of different things. Like that has been one of them.
He says, well, I'll tell you one thing for free. And she's suddenly got like cagier, and her responses are quicker and better typed. Now that she's decided that you're that you're looking for the designer of these clothes, so you can like give them a lucrative contract with like Vachon or Mortimer of London or something. These guys, they all speak the same, like they're from the same place. It's like an old-timey accent, like some crazy BTL thing.
Like BTLs? Oh. Huh. Well, everybody has their vices.
She says, yeah, and they seem to like, and the places I've seen them, I've found them. She's like way more animated now that she's decided that you're important. There's these places places I've generally seen them, like the high class, but kind of sleazy nightclubs. And she says, and then she like links a couple of examples, and she says like, they're not like always there, but those are the places I've seen them the most. And so these are like, she thinks like a half a dozen nightclubs, which are in that area that I've circled. And they're kind of like the sort of places gangsters would hang out in old-timey 1920s Chicago. So like fancy, expensive places, but not like the really upper crust ones.
Okay. Dr. Philgood will say, okay, thank you for the information. I believe you said that's what you would tell me for free. Do you by any chance have a figure in mind for the things that you wouldn't tell me for free?
She laughs. She goes. She writes "lol," and then she says, "No, that's just a figure of speech." But I have some of my own fashion ideas that if you could come and have a look at those, on wink. I won't tell anyone that you're with a fashion house. Then I might know someone who says that they know where these clothes are coming from.
Well, I'll keep it on the down low, and I'll have a look at your things. Maybe push them forward a little bit. Maybe show them to the right people.
She says, "All right, I'll trust you," and she wangs you an AR pointer that basically, an image file, a little data file thing, which is basically it's a headshot of a girl who is like 14-ish, very like young teenager, and then a location, which is basically just a GPS coordinate, and then a name, which is Anna. And then she gives you like some times that she's available for you to come and look at her clothing line stuff that she's making.
Okay, well, I'll see if I can fit you in. I'll message you, and we'll proceed from there. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And I actually can't wait to see your designs.
Oh my God, you're such a darling. TTYL, smiley face.
TTFN.
Fuck. Friendly, handy is scary. Okay. Hold on. Looks like Poncho's having some issues. Should we restart the call?
Probably the best idea.
Yep, I'm cool restarting it.
Yeah. So if you could.
Okay, now I'm hearing things.
Good.
Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. It just cut out in the middle.
Oh no, that's no. Like technical issues are not your fault. Although I think we've lost Handy now.
Damn it.
And Nicole.
Hello, hello.
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 Now it looks like it's Hendy and Poncho.
I'll just give him a minute.
I could have another go if no one else is confident in their internet. Not that I am in mine. Hello.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, everybody but Akuli.
Yeah, everyone but Akuli is in.
Oh, poor Cooley.
He said he's restarting Skype.
Okay.
Dr. Feelgood.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was MIA. What happened with the blogger person?
Dr. Feelgood had a big old conversation with the blogger, and basically the blogger does know. Said she didn't know where they're coming from, but she does know someone who might know, and she mentioned several nightclubs where they might be.
Okay.
And Dr. Feelgood promised. She thinks Dr. Feelgood is the agent of a fashion house looking for like street cool new looks, and he's gonna come and look at her personal fashion stuff.
Cool. Cole, you in?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that worked
Okay,
out.
good. We're back online. Nuclear missile launch. No, all right. So, yeah, so you've got a number of leads now. You have a laundromat, you have a bunch of nightclubs, and you have this girl named Anna. Now, I'm going to jump to, although it didn't take very long, I'm going to jump to Sacrum and Shadow, and as they're driving to the laundromat. But what are Dr. Feelgood and Poncho doing with their knowledge now?
Well, we probably should follow up on it.
Yep, that seems reasonable.
But we'll let the team know, and I guess we'll figure out our next step once they do their part. Because it might be quicker if we follow up on ours and they follow up on theirs, or it might be better if we all go to the same thing. We don't know yet.
It took you like 5 minutes of the conversation, so they're like 5 minutes towards the laundromat. So if you're driving down towards, because remember you're up in where the scribble is, sitting there, Britt. You're more towards the center. You want to drive, and the girl named Anna is also in that circle. So if you want to drive south while they're driving south, that's would probably save you some time. But yeah,
Okay.
we will do them doing laundromat before we do you guys investigating other stuff.
Okay, then yeah, I guess we go to investigate as they do their thing.
Yep, okay, so Sacrum and Shadow, you two are headed down towards the laundromat at where the Mark of the Cross in Everett. So you're driving down there and you arrive and it looks like just an unprepossessing storefront on like a street with a couple of shops on it, nothing major. The sign above says Dunkelzahn's Will Laundromat.
Okay. Well, when he pulls up outside, obviously Shadow will get out of the vehicle again and send it for a lap. And then he will wait for Sacrum.
Yep, Sacrum will be close behind on his bike. Just
So
stop
Fran-
by.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll just stop off and head up after.
I'm not
Yeah,
entirely sure. Go ahead.
Sorry? You're both
Go
kind of
ahead.
breaking up a bit for me. I'm sorry.
I sound bad. My quality's low.
It's more just like bits are being taken out of it, and sometimes it eats a word.
Cully, do you have push to talk on?
I do.
That's probably it.
I'll try to be more generous with my timings and push to talk.
Yeah, it desyncs sometimes a little bit. Anyway, so you both arrive there, and I'm also not getting a huge amount of what Taryn's saying. Did you say you jumped out of your vehicle as well?
Yeah, I just hop off the bike and head up after.
Yeah, okay, good. So you're both kind of able to head into the place. It's obviously when you come in, it's obviously a family-run business because all people just look like each other. They look like they're Asian, and if you are able to distinguish between people with Asian facial structure, they are mainland Chinese. And they're speaking to each other in Chinese, and one of them one of them's at the front counter, and obviously expects you to come up and ask for some things to be dry cleaned or pick something up.
Okay. So I'm sure they're not really saying a whole lot useful on the subject matter right now. They're probably just
It's still
yelling at
useful
each
to
other,
have.
whatever. Yeah.
The skill network out of character per second is so amazingly bullshit.
Or it's not rating 6. I'm sorry, it's rating 4.
Yeah, but the skill network is still just amazing.
But skill wires suck is the thing.
They do suck. So it balances out. But yeah, so they're just like saying stuff about there's an argument because someone got married, someone who isn't there but is still part of the family got married to someone that the family doesn't approve of, and there is just like this circular kind of argument going on about it, and the couple of younger members of the family who are working in the shop are like long suffering silence as people argue about this.
Over D&I, before they start engaging these people, Shadow would be like, I'm not sure how much we're going to get from these folks, but maybe we can try and find some kind of location where, I don't really even know what we could get, but there's got to be something here we can find, so don't be afraid to jump in if you think of something.
Right. Absolutely.
And then he would approach the counter and be like, hello, how you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing fine. You have laundering, yes?
No, I'm sorry, we don't. We're kind of looking into something. We were curious.
Are you knight errant?
No, I'm not knight errant, friend.
She says, she looks at you two, and then she goes, sorry, we know nothing. Sorry.
I highly doubt you know nothing, friend.
Sorry. If you have no business, please leave.
Shadow is going to look at Sacrum. D&I, how do you want to do this?
Stick around until either someone shows up or they tell us something.
All right. So, friend, I know you are less than willing to help us out, but we could probably make it worth your while.
We don't want any trouble.
Well, the best way to not have trouble is to help us out.
Okay, at this point, I'd like you to roll either negotiation or intimidate.
Okay. Since I didn't say I had it slotted, I'm going to have to roll my terrible. I'd imagine it's negotiation. He's not really trying to intimidate these people.